Well, hello everybody, and welcome. I'm Peter Goldstein, founder and chief synergy officer at We Did It Health, where our vision is for a healthy, happy, well-fed vegan world, and we do that by empowering grassroots ambassadors like you and myself to be more effective in planting seeds of hope and curiosity with our friends and loved ones. So they too will get curious and hopefully shift their lifestyle to one that serves their health, that serves animal compassion as well as the climate and Mother Earth. So that's our mission. We did it health, and I'm happy to say that we're in process of launching our new website and community. So please head over to we did it health and register and become a member in the community, create your profile, and to to join our various groups, which we're calling Passion Pods. With that, I am really happy today to be welcoming the duo, Danielle and Maya, in helping sharing some healthy recipes for the holidays, as our theme currently is thrive and inspire through the holidays. So we have a couple of recipes that they're going to demo for us, and they're really yummy and kid friendly, both in terms of cooking and consuming. And please, I want to invite everybody to chime in and say hello and tell us where you're watching from. And absolutely, you have any questions whatsoever, please post them here. And then, of course, this video will be available in our community where you'll be able to also reach Danielle and Maya with questions and thoughts and suggestions. So, without further ado, welcome, Danielle. And can you please tell us about your work and how people might be able to connect with you? I know you're doing some amazing things.
Thank you, Peter. It's so great to be back on. I know I was on in the summertime and I made, I think it was a pasta fruit salad from my memory. So that was really fun. And now we're back for the holidays. And this is very exciting for me because this is where we get to showcase a lot of the food that we've been eating all throughout the year. And now we have family and friends to join us and share that with. So my name, yes, is Danielle Medina, and I am the creator of Fit and Play Mama, which is a lifestyle coaching service. We teach everything from fitness to plant-based cooking to just overall wellness and just well-being. And my focus for a lot of my classes and my presentations are around family health, right? I really want to make sure that families are eating healthy, they're moving daily. That's another important thing about health. And I have a lot of families that ask me personally, how do I keep my family healthy throughout the year? And how do I make meals for my daughter, right? And how do I really get her to eat the food that we're making? And so I try to help with whether it's through classes, whether I'm doing presentations, to really give tips on how to do that. And it's really been a great year for me, I have to say, because I've been working with a lot of organizations that are really interested in those objectives that I've been trying to really help with. And so I live in Brooklyn, New York, and there is just plenty of opportunities here on how to really get your family to eat healthier. And today is one of the opportunities that I have with We Did It Health. And I'm really excited because we have 3 delicious recipes that are absolutely not only delicious, but they are really healthy for you, right? As opposed to, say, the traditional recipes that these are coming from. And it's just something that I'm really passionate about. I really love to teach people how to maintain this lifestyle how to do it, how to increase their plant-based foods, right? So the fruits, the vegetables, the whole grains, and the legumes. And that is then something that I'm really happy I'm able to do.
That's beautiful. That's so important. And to get kids growing up knowing that loving the healthy foods rather than being addicted to all the junk that they're exposed to, and most kids are addicted to and grow up with. And of course, that leads to all the chronic diseases and all the animal abuse and detrimental climate and everything. But it's so to start with kids when they're young. I'm sure there's really no better place to do it than there. So I love your work and I applaud you and I want to thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, so actually, it's funny that you say that because I was one of those children who just grew up where we ate the standard American diet. And I did suffer a lot from gastrointestinal issues, going whether I had constipation or diarrhea, or I even suffered from really severe acne that I actually had to go on medication for it. And even through the medication, it still didn't solve the issue. So I had to really dig deep into what I was studying in college, which was nutrition. Unfortunately, plant-based nutrition was not necessarily included that much into it. They did skim through it, but it really didn't dive as deep as I needed it to do. And I feel that through all of my years of studying and learning from, for example, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and becoming a Food for Life instructor through them has been super helpful. The T. Colin Campbell Nutrition Studies, getting certified through plant-based nutrition there, and just being a part of different organizations, especially here we have Plant Powered Metro New York, which is a nonprofit organization that really does amazing work. And having the opportunity to now know what I know and then spread it to others. It's such an important thing that we don't keep this to ourselves, right? We want to make sure that all of our family members and friends and anyone else who's seeking to improve their health to really look for these resources. And I'm happy to be one of those resources that they can come to.
Yes, very important resources. Thank you for doing that. So, yes, again, I love the work you're doing, and I think, are you ready to show us one of your magnificent creations? And was
Absolutely.
your assistant or maybe your boss ready to join you?
I know that's true. Sometimes we switch roles, right? Well, the
Yes.
first thing, the first thing I like to do is make it really fun in the kitchen, right? So the one thing that we do is we have our aprons, right? So I put my apron on, and my daughter Maya, who's going to be joining us in a moment, she's putting her apron on as well. And that's just the fun and the beauty about it, is that it all starts in the kitchen, right? We want to bring those children into the kitchen as much as possible. Look, if they're making the food with you, they know what's going in it. They can taste it, and their taste buds change as well. So for families out there that are like, well, my kid is really hooked on a lot of processed foods, a lot of foods that are not so healthy for you, bring them in the kitchen right away. Make it a family activity. That's the most important thing. So we're going to start. Oh, here comes Maya. I think she needs me to help her with. There we go. Say hi.
Hello, Maya. Welcome.
All right. And Maya, how old are you? She is 8 years old. She's been in the kitchen with me since she was very, very tiny, with her own little knife, right? And her kid-friendly knife. And you've just been cooking along with me this whole time, right? So it's very fun, and we try to do this all as much as possible, right?
I have an apple.
You can have one apple, sure. See, we're tasting and we're making. Tasting and we're making. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna make is a vegan apple crisp. Oh my goodness. Doesn't that sound so good? The beauty about,
Yum.
yes, the apples right now are in season, and we have so many. If you go to a farmer's market, there's so many different varieties of apples. The apple that we're using today, we actually already cut up. This is a green apple. I like this one because it's sweet, but it's not as sweet as some of them. If you want, you can definitely switch it up. But we chose green apples. We peeled them and we cored them, and then we cut them into little slivers like this, right? So very small slivers, right? And then, so we have, this calls for about 8 medium or small to medium sized apples, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a dash of lemon. Well, here's the homeschooling part of when we're cooking together. Why do we put lemon on our apples? Do you know why?
Because it tastes better.
Well, that could be one. It tastes better. But you see how some of them are browning a little bit? So the lemon is filled with vitamin C, and it has tons of antioxidants in it. So what we do is we put that lemon right on it, and then it sprinkles all around, and then it kind of gets rid of that the browning of the apple, okay? All right, so let me grab a spoon here. Here we go. So can you start mixing that around for me? Thank you. Okay, so we have the lemon juice that it was about a dash of the lemon juice. Then we're gonna have a tablespoon of maple syrup or date syrup. Now, why do we choose maple syrup or date syrup? Because they are less processed, right? They are lower on the glycemic index. And the great thing about if you have date syrup or actual date paste, you're keeping the fiber in, right? Which is super healthy for us, right? To have fiber every day. So here is our maple syrup. Great job, Maya. You're going to just keep mixing that up for me. All right, let's take a look at our ingredients. We have the maple syrup, and then we're going to put a teaspoon of ground cinnamon.
Can you mix it?
Sure. You want to do the ground cinnamon? Okay, let's get the teaspoon out. Now, cinnamon is something that I love to put in a lot of my recipes because, here's the teaspoon, because it has a lot of antibacterial properties. It's really good for your blood glucose, right? So just keeping it at a nice level here. And just overall, it tastes really good. So we would always want to add this to our, yeah, you want to try the other side. It's going to come out pretty fast now. Yeah, that's good. All right. So we have our cinnamon. Sprinkle it around, and then we're going to just keep mixing, right? It's the most important thing because we want to get all these apple slices coated with the maple syrup, with the lemon, and what did we just put in?
The cinnamon.
The cinnamon, right? Next, we have our cornstarch, and this calls for a tablespoon of cornstarch. Let's get our tablespoon back out. And then cornstarch is just to keep it together, right? Ooh, ooh. And sometimes we make a mess in the kitchen, and that's okay, right? It's easy to clean up. Okay, and then, oh Maya, can you get me the salt over there? This is just a pinch of salt now, right? Just to bring out a little bit more of the sweetness. So the salt brings out that little bit more of the sweetness that we want to add. Oh, that's good. There we go. One more time. Okay, perfect. And then just put just a pinch. All right. So this is going to be our filling for our apple crisp. Now let's put this into this is going to be let's see, it calls for a 9x9 baking pan. Okay. Oh my goodness, does this not smell so good? Just this part alone just smells so good.
It smells like apple.
It smells like apple.
And apples don't really smell, but with other flavors, they do smell.
That's true. Now it's time for us to make our toppings. So the crisp, right? That crisp part. First thing we're going to do is add old-fashioned oats, right? These, you can use quick oats, you can use old-fashioned oats, whichever one, right? So we're going to put that into our bowl. Perfect. Great. Then we're going to add so I took oats and I just put them in a blender and I made oat flour. Super simple. You don't even have to buy this at the supermarket. You can just make it at home. So we're going to put the oat flour in, all of it. And that was a half a cup of oat flour and then a half a cup of almond flour. Now, if you have any nut allergies, I would just leave the almond flour out and you can just use a little bit more of the oat flour. Gluten-free oat flour. Perfect. Right, and then let's see, what else do we have? We have our walnuts. So walnuts are so good for us. They're filled with omega-3 fatty acids, which is the healthy fats that we need for our brain function, different things right in our bodies. So walnuts are really good for you. If you have a nut allergy, again, you can just omit this, maybe put some raisins in, right? But you can keep these in if you like them.
I don't really like them.
Maya's not a big fan.
That's it.
That's it. So that's all we're going to.
Let's take a few out.
So this is the great thing about these recipes is that they are just templates. You do what's best for your family, okay? Let's get our mixing spoon again, right? Can you start mixing that up?
Are we going to put our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients?
Yes. Guess what our wet ingredient is?
Dark maple syrup?
Yeah, this is 100% maple syrup, right, that we used before. So you just want to make sure that you check your labels and make sure that this is 100% maple syrup. Very important. Okay, now we're going to put, let's see, it calls for 5 tablespoons. Can you get that tablespoon right there on the table right there for me? Tablespoon on the table. Okay, so this is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then it says 5.5. So I'm just going to do a little bit more. Okay, we're all good. Okay, so now you're going to mix that in really well. Very good. And you're going to start to see it's going to start to crumble a little bit, have that nice crisp texture to it. And then we're going to add our teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let me get my teaspoon out. You're doing great, Maya. This looks good. Smells so good. All those flavors are so, and I love just the smell and taste of vanilla extract when it's in my recipes. You don't want to eat it alone, right?
Yeah, I don't think it'll
Definitely,
taste good.
definitely, yeah. It's kind of strong, but it tastes really good in recipes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, so let's see. Do we have everything? Oh, we're gonna put 1/4 teaspoon. So let me just get my one. We want to measure that a little bit of our sea salt. Okay.
I think that was a lot.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think I put a little flour.
We'll have to try it out. So if you can see, I'm going to bring this as Maya is mixing this up. You see how the consistency now is starting to look more wet, and it's going to have that nice crumble taste and texture. All right. You think we're ready? Almost? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the filling, and we're going to put this right here. We're going to switch spots so everyone can see. And then let's place this all in, right? So we're just going to make sure even the bottom part is mixed up. And then it's going to go right on top, and we're going to spread it all out because each piece should have that crisp, right? Nice topping on it. And then we're just going to push it down, right? Oh, and of course, yes, you can have, if there's leftovers in our mixing bowl, you absolutely can taste it. How does it taste? That's really good, right?
I think we added too much salt.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully not. Maybe that's just a little bit on the top. Okay. So this is our apple crisp. It's going to go into the oven. You're going to preheat your oven at 375. Then you're going to place it in the oven, and you're going to cook it for about, let's see, it says for about 35 to 45 minutes. So you want to, and the way to judge this is that it should have a golden brown topping, right? So if it doesn't have that yet, you're going to just leave it in until you get that color. If by that time it's ready, it's ready. Okay, so let me put this into the oven. It's already been preheated and it is ready to go. I'm just going to now put this on for 30. I'm going to put this on for 40 minutes. So in between the 35 and the 40 minutes. And you know how your oven works. So you can definitely adjust however you need to. Okay, let's move on to our next delicious dessert for our holiday season.
Wait, there's more desserts?
There is more. There is more to come.
Yum.
All right. So we have our apple crisp in our oven, but next we are going to make chocolate hummus.
Chocolate hummus?
Chocolate hummus.
I've never heard of that.
I know, it sounds so good. All right, are we ready? Okay, so let's grab our blender because it's all going into the blender. So we have one dessert that is baking. The next thing we're gonna have one dessert that is completely like a raw dessert, right? So all you need to do is just put it, as long as you have a blender or maybe even a food processor, we can definitely use one of these. First thing we're gonna do, let me get our mise en place ready. So that means, you know what mise en place means?
No, I
guess. So that means that you're gonna get all your ingredients out. So you see the table right there? Yeah, you're gonna grab all of those ingredients. This is why it's so helpful to have little hands in the kitchen to help you through the process, right? To get things, there we go. I'm gonna put that there, perfect. Oh, and actually I don't need that, I'm good. And I think we're good, okay.
I don't need this?
No, not right now, but thank you for asking. Okay, so here we go, chocolate hummus. So the first ingredient, believe it or not, is going to be
Garbanzo beans.
Garbanzo beans. Now, these beans there's no salt added, right? So you want to make sure that there's no salt added. If there is salt added to this, you're just going to put it in a colander, put it under the water in the sink, and then it will just get rid of all of the salt. So if that wasn't a choice, no salt, then you can just get rid of all that salt. Now, the other thing is, I opened this already, but there's going to be this amazing liquid in there, and it's called
magic.
It's called. Well, you know what it's called in there? The liquid.
Garbanzo liquid.
It is, right? But there's a special name for it, and
I think I know it. I don't know.
it's okay. It's called aquafaba.
Oh.
Aquafaba is amazing because it's a great egg replacer. It is a great thing to use in so many different recipes that call for, say, like an egg or something where you need some sort of moist, like oil or something like that. So you want to save that aquafaba because you never know. You can use that in another dessert. So I have mine in my refrigerator in a Tupperware, and it'll be ready to go at some point. Now, let's get back to our recipe.
Wait, are you going to put the garbanzo beans in there?
Yes, I am.
And the juice?
No, the juice is in the refrigerator. Just the garbanzo beans.
Can I have one?
Yes, you can save the juice, right? And there's so many recipes. You can look that up online. Aquafaba, how do you use it? Okay, well, we need some for the chocolate hummus. Okay, ready? And into our blender. Wonderful. And everything goes into the sink, so in case we need to have some room, and we'll clean it up later. So that was 115 ounce can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Then we're going to add our peanut butter.
I had peanut butter this morning.
So you can add peanut butter, you can add almond butter. If you have a nut allergy, don't worry, you can add also, which I have right here, sunflower butter, right? And this is a great substitute for anyone who has any kind of nut allergy. Still, it's going to taste really yummy. All right, so let's put about, it says 1/4 cup of our peanut butter. So let me grab my, let's see, I'm going to grab this tablespoon. And so that's about 4 tablespoons. So here we go. You ready?
No.
Okay.
Tres.
Oh, bien. Okay, and that's it. We're just going to put 4 of those tablespoons in there. Do you want to lick that? Well, before I put that in there. That's the beauty of having a kid in the kitchen. Everything gets cleaned up, whether they're licking it or whatever they're doing. Right? So the next thing we're going to add is our unsweetened cacao powder. Right? So here's our unsweetened cacao powder. You can pretty much find this in any grocery store. If you can't find this cacao, you can use cocoa powder. Now the difference between cacao and cocoa powder, it just means that cacao powder is less processed than cocoa powder, but still it's okay to use for this recipe. Right? So we're going to add 2 tablespoons. You ready? It smells good. You want to smell it? Whoa, no, it's kind of strong. So cacao powder is not sweet at all, right? It's especially if it's unsweetened, right? So it's not going to have a sweetness to it.
Wait, so this is not going to have a sweetness to it?
Well, we're going to have to add our sweetness to it. And what
does this taste like?
What does it taste like? You can use that spoon. All right. But now we're going to add our sweetener.
Yes.
Right? So our sweetener is going to be our maple syrup. Or you can use date paste, right? That's pretty easy to make. You get your dates and then you just make it into a paste. Actually, you can blend it up. And then that's something that you can use as well. And like I said, date paste is great because it keeps the fiber in it as well. So we're doing 4 tablespoons and done. Okay. And then let's see, of course, we're going to add that vanilla extract. Can you grab it? It's over there. This calls for 1 teaspoon. Let me get my teaspoon out. You ready for, thank you. Can you hold this? Okay, and then let's put that in. Okay, some of it fell in. Go ahead, you can just pour that in. Great. All right. Anything else? Another pinch of salt. So just a little pinch.
All right, I'll pinch it.
Go ahead. You want to pinch it? Okay. And then I'm going to throw the rest into the sink. That's it. And if you need a little bit of water, because it might get really thick, so you can also use some water in this. All right, so we're going to put this in our blender. We're going to put it on. So while we're doing that, we can move around. If you want, you get up, start moving around because we have time to move, right? We want to make sure we incorporate some sort of movement as we're doing this. All right, so ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's check it out.
Done.
Okay, I think we're going to add a little bit of water like it said, right, because it's a little thick. So
I see on the bottom it's smooth.
It does look smooth, but we're going to add a little bit of water. Okay, because it should have a creamy consistency to it. Let's see. Okay, and I'm also going to get my spatula.
And move it around.
Or I'm just going to use actually a spoon, and then I'm just going to move it down. Yeah, exactly. And this is the process, right? Sometimes you just have to kind of move it around.
It smells like peanut butter.
It does smell like peanut butter a little bit, right? Because we added all that peanut butter into it. And then I'm just going to add just a little bit more water. Okay. All right. Let's see how this works this time. Ready? Oh, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Okay, ready? And go. All right. Let's see. Oh, that looks much better. What do you think? Take a look. It's hard to see. It might be a little hard for you to see, but there's the chocolate hummus. Looks so good.
Can we try it now?
Okay. So we have some bowls here
And I'm going to get the spoon.
and the spoons. And I'm going to use this here to scoop it out a little bit. Okay.
Hold on,
It does smell really good. It smells super, super good. Okay. So it's creamy and it smells delicious. I can definitely smell that peanut butter.
These are spoons.
Those are your, the spoons. There.
Looks delicious.
It does look very, very good. Very good. And it's healthy for you, right? Because we think of when we think of chocolate, right, as our dessert, a lot of times we are sacrificing because it may have lots of different ingredients that are not so healthy for our bodies. So what we want to do is really focus on the ingredients that are super healthy for us. All right. Now, we're going to put some in our chocolate hummus. Let's put some berries. Okay? So, actually, before we do this, I'm going to make our hot chocolate, right? And then while that's happening, then we can start addressing this, okay? Put that to the side. No worries, you're going to have some. Okay.
Can I have some?
You can try, of course. Now, for our last one, we're going to make our vegan hot chocolate, right? So I have another blender. And this one is my Magic Bullet blender.
Magic bullet. So you mean
so small?
It can disappear and then reappear?
Wait,
Wait,
not quite, but
it can go out of space and then disappear the second you launch it?
maybe.
Uh,
All right, so we have our first ingredient, which is our plant-based milk. You can use oat milk. You can use any kind of nut milk. This is almond milk. So, and I'm actually in the process of making hazelnut milk, as you can see here. And it's really easy. Really, all you do is you just take some hazelnuts, about a cup, and then you fill it with water and you keep it overnight. And then you're going to put it in the blender with, I think it's about 2.5 cups. Blend it all up, and then you're going to put it in a cheesecloth and squeeze all that yummy hazelnut milk out. And you can also use it for this. But for now, we're just using our almond milk, our unsweetened almond milk. Yes. And then let's put our cocoa powder in. So we use cacao powder. Now we're going to use cocoa powder. Cocoa powder. So this is also unsweetened, right? So make sure when you are choosing either cacao or cocoa powder that it is unsweetened, okay? Because that's really important. Now that calls for about 1 to 2 teaspoons. All right, so let's get our teaspoon out. Okay, now we're gonna put that in. What do you think, 1 or 2 teaspoons?
2.
Yeah, we're gonna make it really chocolatey.
Is that sweet?
This is unsweetened? Nope. We have to add the sweetener to it. So what's going to be our sweetener for today? Well,
Dates.
we're going right to the source. We're going to do dates. So I have, these are the medjool dates, which are super soft. All you need to do is just make sure that you get rid of the pit and
And you don't want to eat the pit. Then you'll hurt your teeth.
That's true. You don't want to hurt your teeth. So we're just going to use 1. We're going to dump it right in there. If you want a little sweeter, you can add 2 if you like.
Or you could add some maple syrup.
You could, right? If you didn't have any dates, you can absolutely add some maple syrup. And then we're using that vanilla extract again.
Yep,
Right?
for all our things.
So this calls for 1/4 cup. So we're going to use the tinier one.
The
Like
tiniest one.
the tiniest one, right? And then I'm just going to add a little bit. Good.
Little baby one.
Good. And then let's see. We have just a pinch of cinnamon. So the cinnamon is on the table over there. You can actually, just put, because it'll stick to, it will stick to your hand and it won't go in there. So just, go pat, pat, pat. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is going to go into my magic bullet. And then let's get this ready. So I'm going to put this on just for a few moments so this can all blend in. Here we go. Okay. So now you can actually drink this right now, right? Because it's almost like chocolate milk, right? Or we can heat it up and make some hot cocoa. Right?
I better step away.
We're going to step away from the stove. Sure. So we're going to add this in to our pot.
Do you have marshmallows, vegan marshmallows?
I don't have them today, no. And we're just going to heat this up just a little bit. And I'm going to, let me grab this. And we're just going to mix this up a little bit. And like I said, you can have this either room temperature or you can have it nice and warm.
It's hot in here.
It's a little hot, right? Because we have the oven on. It's just the way it is sometimes in the kitchen. You got to wear like tank tops, right? In the kitchen while you're cooking.
I wore a long sleeve. I have to roll up my sleeves.
You got to roll up your sleeves when you're cooking. All right. So while we're waiting for this, the hot cocoa, we're going to now make our chocolate hummus beautiful with our fruit. All right, so can you get your knife? You know where your knife is over there. And I'm going to get my knife as well. And we're going to cut it up. Okay? So we're using strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries to decorate our chocolate hummus. And just going to cut it into little pieces here. And you can decorate it if you like. Yeah, you got some. Yeah. And so now you're having dessert, but you're adding, so when you talk about the 4 food groups that you want to have every single day, right? The whole grains, the legumes,
the fruits, and the vegetables.
So for this particular dessert, right, what did we use as a legume in this one?
We use garbanzo.
Yes. So we have garbanzo beans. So we have our fiber and super rich, super healthy base, right? So we have garbanzo beans, and then we're adding some fresh fruit. And you can even use our blueberries are from the freezer. So we used freezer blueberries. Frozen blueberries, freezer blueberries sounds kind of funny, right? And then we're going to use our raspberries as well. And if you like some bananas, you can put them in. Any kind of fruit that you like for this dessert. Are you ready to try it? Not yet. I'm gonna try it. No, you want me to wait? Okay. Well, while we're waiting, I think our hot cocoa, I'm gonna turn this off because I think it is ready.
Yay.
Get our little fancy cup that we are going to drink it from.
I want that
nice cup. Fancy cup. And then let's pour it in.
Too bad we don't have any marshmallows.
Oh, that's okay. Next time. Okay. And so I definitely, because I was doing it kind of fast, some of the dates are still, like, they need to be broken up a little bit more. So I'm just going to put a little bit in here. But you can always just put it back into the food or the blender, the food processor or blender, and just blend it up a little bit.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
I made mine. Hold on. I
Oh,
made mine like a dog. If you can see the eyes and the nose and the mouth.
it's beautiful. Wow. Nice work, Maya.
Since I love dogs.
And I just made mine into a beautiful display of fruit and our chocolate hummus. Okay, ready? Mmm. Wow, delicious.
I don't want to eat it because it looks so good.
Mmm.
But I have to eat it.
It's super smooth. It's tasty.
It doesn't have enough sweetener though.
You don't think so? All right. What we can always do is we can either add maybe just a little bit more next time for the maple syrup, or just keep using your fruit as your sweetener. Yep. Okay. All right. Now we're going to try out our apple crisp because this takes about 35 minutes. We are not ready for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this to the side.
Don't worry, chocolate. I'm a doggy. I'll eat you later. So you can still be alive now.
And then we're going to eat our apple crisp. But let me show you, because this is something I made prior to coming onto the show. So this is the apple crisp. So you can see that golden brown in our apple crisp. So let's take this and we're going to plate it.
Yum.
Yep. Some here. Okay.
I can see the apples.
You can see the apples. I'm going to put a whole bunch on this plate here.
Good. But make sure to save some for later.
Oh, yes, definitely. Okay.
Ready?
All right, and just grab your spoon again.
That's mine.
Oh, that's yours? Ah, okay. And then let's do a taste of our apple crisp. Really good. Wow. This is so good. It's so yummy because you have the crispiness of the toppings.
Maybe next time.
So good. What do you think?
Good.
Yeah. I think it tastes really good. Then you have the filling, which actually is really nice because it's almost like it's soft, right? And you have that cinnamon taste to it. Very good. What do you think? Yeah. Okay. And then finally we have our hot cocoa. Okay.
You want to serve yourself too?
It's okay. You want to try a little bit? We may have to use the blender a little bit just because especially if you're using fresh dates, sometimes you need to just keep making sure that it is all blended up. And of course, I went a little fast, so.
Okay.
We're gonna have to blend it a little bit more, right? Okay.
And I think we need more sweet.
Oh. You know what it is? We didn't, because it's not blended over. We're gonna try one more time.
Good.
You right? Let me get this.
You learn
All right.
things every day.
You learn things every day. All right, here we go. Okay. Now, let's try it. Let me see. I'm going to try a little bit.
All right, let's add some chocolate chips.
Oh, wow, this is so good. Super good. And healthy for you, right? So this is something where if the kids needed to adjust a little bit, you can. And they're in the kitchen with you. They're enjoying making all of this stuff. So that's the most important thing, right? We want to make sure that they're in the kitchen with you and doing some of that work that you are working hard to keep them healthy. And there we go. So we have our apple crisp, our hot chocolate, and our chocolate hummus. So,
Not
yeah.
So can we add some chocolate?
Sure, you can. Yeah.
Yay.
So there you have it. If you have any questions for me or Maya, you can do so. And
Yes, I would very like to answer some questions.
Okay. But
Hi, everybody. Hi, Maya. Hey, Danielle. I'm I'm stepping in for Peter. Anyway, I guess you figured that out. It's wonderful. I was watching. I love this, and they had a lot of questions. So many times I would be making hot chocolate, and I wouldn't know how to stir it up. Like I would try to make it, and I would stir it as fast as I could, and I mean, with the hot cocoa, I mean, with the hot the powder. Anyway, it wouldn't work. So now I have a magic bullet and I have dates. I have all that. So I'm going to do that now.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time just so that the dates can break down. But once it does, right? So I would say ideally you want to let it be in the blender for about 2 minutes, and then it'll break apart. But we did it kind of fast, so that's why it's still put together.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah, no, that's really important to know. Um, and the apple crisp looks wonderful. I actually have an event coming up, a potluck at my church, and I'd love to share something. I mean, what would be something I'd like to make a good big batch, which wouldn't be too hard. I mean, should I do the garbanzo? I mean, the hummus, or would you? Because sometimes I would make that tofu pie, but this seems easier. Wouldn't have to
Yeah.
chill it.
No, yeah. So I mean that's why I gave 3 different types of desserts. So this apple crisp really is super easy to make, and all you just pop it in the oven. You can make a big batch. You can double or even triple the recipe that I gave you and have a nice tray of the apple crisp. Or if you want to do the chocolate hummus, definitely you can have that in a big bowl and have the fruit on the side so that they can take their hummus and then dip their fruit into it. So it's something that's really easy to do.
Well, that's a good idea. Definitely have the chocolate hummus with fruit. And I always felt chocolate hummus. I'm scared to do that, but I don't know why. Because why would I be scared if I eat chocolate tofu, right?
Right.
But I love garbanzo beans and I love hummus. So, yeah, these are wonderful ideas. I'm going to definitely. We're going to put the recipes up in the YouTube link after this, and well, it's just wonderful to see Maya loving loving these so much because sometimes, well, I wonder what it would be like to be a vegan child. So, what do you think about that, Maya? What would you say about being a vegan child?
It's funner because I get to try all the food first, and then my dad has to try it last.
Well, good. So you're first in line.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And also their palate, it gets used to a lot of the foods that we're eating. And so especially there are moments when we go to birthday parties or there's Halloween or something like that, and she will have her chance to have some of the other food that's available of the other desserts that are available. But we always go back to this, right? Because this is what we have in our home. We don't have the other processed foods in our home. So this is a really great way to kind of remind them always, hey, this is the food that we really need to be eating.
Right. Well, that makes sense, definitely. And what do the kids think about your food when you take it to school, Maya? Do they say anything? Do they like it?
Well, so I made French fries, and then I offered them, and then everyone's like, "Can I bring home 16 of them?" I'm like, "I don't think you can because I only have 16 left."
Yeah, we made an oil-free French fry, and she brought it to her classmates, and they really loved it. And it's great because it was homemade and no oil added, so it was just really healthy.
How did you make that?
So you take some rustic potatoes, you cut them up, and then you make sure that you put them in a bowl of ice cold water with some ice on it, and you let it stay there for about 10 minutes. And then you dry them off, you put it on a baking sheet and then with parchment paper, and then you put it in the oven at say 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. And then it browns. It definitely browns as if a normal French fry would do, and it tastes delicious because you could put any type of seasoning on it. So it's just really yummy.
Well, that's good to know, definitely. And it must have been a big hit. So
Oh yeah.
that's wonderful. Yeah. And so what what do you run into? I mean, do when you're talking with other mothers, Danielle, do they ask you questions about your business or what, I mean, what kind of comments do you get?
Yeah, I think that people are pretty impressed by how she eats and how healthy she is. So I do get a lot of questions on, well, what do how can I start cooking like this? And how can I get my child to eat more foods the way that, say, Maya does? And the first thing is, it's really just start in the kitchen and start with a simple meal that doesn't take a lot of maybe food prep, just maybe cutting up some, if you're starting with like a small meal or even a snack, right? Like cutting up some of fruits and some vegetables and then make a tray of it so that if they're hungry, they can snack on just that plate, right? So it's just start really easy, start really small, and through there you can start implementing different steps to like larger recipes. But these, like for example, like these recipes are super easy to make. So, and that's why I chose them, because you really don't need a lot, and we used a lot of the ingredients over and over again, right? So it's something that if you have your maple syrup, if you have peanut butter, or even the sun butter, then you can just keep using this in different recipes, and still it'll taste good, and they'll enjoy it. And it's almost like it really is. It's a dessert, but it's healthier than a dessert because the chocolate hummus really, it's a bean dish, right? We're just flavored a different way.
That's incredible. No, I mean, it's amazing what we can do once we go down the, the path of discovery, right? And we just get rid of these roadblocks. Like, I mean, my roadblock would be, oh my gosh, I don't want to eat garbanzo beans as a dessert. So what's that keeping me back from? So definitely.
So true. And I think, yeah, it's just about tricking the mind, right? Because we make black bean brownies, right? If we make black bean brownies, then we can make chocolate hummus as well.
Exactly, yes. And I remember there was something, I don't know which one. Oh, I think it was a lemon bar that I made with potato, with a white potato in it. And I was like, I don't know about this, but it was great. Of course. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I mean. Like, I got to get over these.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a way of newness, and it's better health,
Yeah.
and it's exciting because when you share that with people, they'll be like, what?
I know, right? And a lot of times I'll just make it. I won't even tell anyone that it's vegan, or because I just want them to try it, especially with family, right? You want family to try it, and you don't want them to react, right? Because they may be like, oh, if it's like this, then I don't want to try it. You just place it down. Place it, if you go to Thanksgiving or whatever holiday that you're celebrating, place your meal down. Don't say anything. If they ask, just say, oh, why don't you try it first and let me know what you think. It's a recipe that we really like at home. We wanted to share. After they try it and they give you their opinion, then you can maybe start talking about what's actually in it. But sometimes I would hold off. Obviously, if they have food allergies, make sure that, any nut allergies or anything like that, you just want to make sure. But other than that, I think that it's kind of good. You could just say, oh, this has nuts in it, right? Are you okay with that? Or this has this ingredient in it. Are you okay with that? And then just let them explore on their own.
Right. Well, that makes so much sense. Definitely. Just let them enjoy it. And then if they ask for the recipe, you can always have it handy, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you one other question. What about oils? Like if I'm substituting applesauce for eggs and then
Mm-hmm.
it calls for oil, can I still substitute applesauce for that too? Or would I need to how could I do that?
Yeah, it all depends on what you're actually cooking. So, for example, if I am making muffins, right? So you can definitely do applesauce. You can definitely do. Sometimes I even use a plant-based yogurt, right? So if I have coconut yogurt on hand, or if I have cashew milk yogurt, I will use that, and that helps bring the moisture in it. Also, there's aquafaba, which we were talking about earlier. That's very helpful in a lot of recipes. So there's many, or banana, right? You can mash up a banana. If it also depends on what the recipe is. So first, find out what the recipe is, and then kind of see, because there's a lot of depending on what you're making. There's certain substitutes that are better when you're substituting the oil. But yeah, those are a lot of the choices are applesauce, bananas, plant-based yogurt, and an aquafaba.
Well, that's good to know. I've never used aquafaba too. That's another one that I'm gonna have to get over my preconceived notions about and start
Yeah.
using. I made
Yeah.
some banana bread the other day, the banana bread, and I was thinking next time I want it to be more moist. And so sometimes I feel like I'm too limiting when I try to put in the applesauce. I think, oh, I can't put too much in, but I think the more I put in, the more moist it's going to be after I've made it. And then I
Yes.
think I should have put in more.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also the nut butters as well. They have natural oils in them. So anytime even if I make a brownie, sometimes I do put the peanut butter in it, or an almond butter in it, or even the sun butter, because that's another thing that keeps it very moist. So that's another thing. Again, as long as someone doesn't have a nut allergy, then you can add that.
Wonderful. Well, that's great to know. Definitely. So tell us how people can get a hold of you if somebody's watching and you want to connect with Danielle and learn more about her and her recipes. Where can we find you?
So you can go to fitandplaymama.com, right? So it's right here, Fit and Play Mama. And you can reach me at my website, which is info@fitandplaymama. And yes, if you have, fitandplaymama.com, if you have any questions about just recipes, or if you would like to have a consultation with me on how to improve your own health or your family's health, more than happy to help in any way I can.
Wonderful. And Maya's available there too for kids.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We need all the support we can get for our health, and y'all are great examples of that, of eating and thriving. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, y'all, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Peter, for hosting this. And I jumped on. I'm glad I got to meet you, Danielle and Maya, this time, and JJ for watching. And this is wonderful. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that apple crisp recipe because I love apples. And yes, and then I'll be adding the recipes to our YouTube so you all can get them and make them and let us know how they go.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us on.
Well, thank y'all, and y'all have a beautiful holiday season, and we hope to have you back on. Let us know whenever you want to come back on, and because people need to know about you, Fit and Play Mama. You're out there supporting these young minds and bodies. So thank you for everything you're doing, ladies.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone. Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye.